On today's podcast, we had Sean Lyden. He's the owner of Systematic Selling. And when I tell you this is a must listen to podcast, I mean it. This is a must listen to podcast. I know you'll get a lot out of it. Sean breaks down his methods of selling and ways you can get more business. You got to check it out. Please like and subscribe. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Hole in the Wall Business Podcast with Bill and James. I'm James Groves, and along with my business partner, Bill Dement, we want to share our journey as small business owners with you. As owners of Hole in the Wall Drywall Repair, we will attempt to peel back the curtain of owning a small business in the trade service industry and talk about the many adventures of owning a small business. Hey, Bill.
James, good morning. How are you?
Absolutely fantastic. It's my birthday week, so obviously,
Congratulations.
Birthday week extravaganza. The whole month of September should be my celebration, but I'll be
Very
okay.
nice.
So Friday's it. Although this will launch after my birthday, so.
Well, what a great guest for your birthday week now.
I know.
Because he fits a long line of people that we love hanging out with because we always like hanging out with smart people.
Smart people. Plus, he's a musician too, so.
He's a musician.
I like musicians.
There's a lot to like about him.
Yeah. So I met this individual, I met Sean, through the Chamber of Commerce, and we've become fast friends. We've bumped into each other while having dinner in Lake Nona, and he's just become somebody that I respect. I saw him speak at a couple chamber events. Plus, he is an amazing saxophone player. So I'm excited to have him on the show.
Self-admittedly.
I know. Rightly so.
Self-proclaimed.
Self-proclaimed. So I want to introduce officially Sean Lyden. He's the founder and CEO of Systematic Selling. Sean, thank you.
Yep. Welcome on the program, Sean.
Bill and James, thank you so much.
So glad you're here.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. And, systematic selling, it's almost, it says what you do. Mm-hmm. You sell with a system. But I can't wait to kind of dig into some of your systems. But why don't you just introduce yourself a little bit, tell our audience kind of who you are and what makes you such an expert in this field.
I appreciate it. Name's Sean Lydon. The company I run is Systematic Selling, and what we do is we provide sales systems, coaching, and training to growth-minded founders who are looking to scale their sales without the chaos. And the way I got into this business is through what you would call failure. I had launched a .com back in the late 1990s, and we got a lot of traction, grew the company, and then it bombed about 24 months later. And at the time, I had a young family with wife and two daughters, and I had gone 18 months without taking a salary. I had run up our credit card debt and depleted all our retirement savings. So I had to figure out what I was going to do. And what I did that I was thinking would buy me some time is I took a job at a truck dealership, a GMC truck dealership in Kennesaw, Georgia. And that actually changed my life. It was something that wasn't going to be a career or would have an impact, but what I learned there was something I didn't know before, and that was about sales systems. Most dealerships that we've experienced, all of us, I'm sure you out in the audience, is that you absolutely dread going to a dealership to buy a vehicle. And I found the one dealership, it was the only one I interviewed with, that did not suck for sales reps or for their customers. And a great sales culture. And what I learned there was the importance of systems. They had everything down to how the receptionist would answer the phone. It's a great day at Carl Black. Where can I direct your call? To if you were on the lot and someone would arrive at the dealership, you wouldn't go like most people would do, hey, how can I help you today? It'd be, welcome to Carl Black. My name's Sean. What brings you by the dealership today? And that little change, it's a system. They had it tested. They knew it worked. That little change shifted the psychology in the customer where you're caught off a little bit off guard, whereas a customer, you're not going to do the normal response of, oh, I'm just looking. You're going to go, well, I'm here to buy a vehicle for my daughter. You go, great. Let's talk about, follow me. And you would walk and they would follow you into the dealership to your office. And let's talk about what's important to your daughter and what's important to you as a parent. And then you begin that whole process.
Wow, what a different approach.
Yeah, a whole shift.
And I as I'm listening to you, I'm putting myself in the position of that buyer walking on a lot going, this already feels different and, dare I say, comfortable.
Yes. 100%. And that was great as a sales rep, because now you're in situations where, even though I was brand new, I was experiencing some success because customers enjoyed that experience. I enjoyed it as a rep. And what I did about 12 months into being on the retail lot, I was moved into the commercial sales, which is outside sales, which I absolutely loved. Because in my mind, the dealership can spend millions of dollars in advertising to bring people to the dealership. But 90% of the small business owners out there would rather not step foot on the dealership. And what my role was to bring the dealership out to the business owners. And I started taking what I learned through the training on the retail side and systematizing it for how to succeed on the commercial side. And by my second full year on the commercial side, our dealership was the number one GMC dealer in the country. This was 2005. I was the top selling medium duty truck dealer for that dealer and ranked among the top 25 in the nation in medium duty truck sales. 2 years in. Not all talent. That is training and systems that put that into play. So you fast forward to 2008, I got out of the business largely because, 2008.
Right.
GM stopped offering the trucks that I sold, and that was my opportunity to go out on my own. Officially launched what is now Systematic Selling, at the time was Lyden Communications LLC in 2013, and it was a ghostwriting and editorial content agency. But something happened. That first month I was in business, I sent out an email to all my contacts, and one of them was a former truck sales client. He said, "Sean, I love what you're doing. What I loved and experienced what you did in terms of how you sold to me. Can you teach me that same approach for my business?" He runs a commercial HVAC contracting company. At the time, it was just him doing sales. And I was like, hey, let's give this a shot. I didn't think anything of sales coaching at the time, except maybe a nice little side revenue. But by 2019, that little side revenue became 50% of my business. By last year, it was 70% of my revenue.
Wow.
And that's when I decided, beginning of 2024, we're rebranding based on what I had launched in my newsletter earlier in 2023 as Systematic Selling, because this is the business we're in.
Yeah,
we're no longer
you really
in the
found
content
a need,
agency.
didn't you?
I did. So that's where it brings me today.
Very cool. And you're a published author as well?
I am. Latest book that came out is called The Collaboration Effect on Profit: Overcoming Founder Syndrome to Achieve Sustainable Success. I'm a co-author of that book with two longtime friends, David Harper and Russ Clemmer with Legacy Advisory Partners, which is a financial services and executive benefits firm in Alpharetta, Georgia.
Yeah, and I want to chime in real quick. I haven't read the entire book yet, Sean, first few chapters, but I can attest there's not much fluff.
I appreciate it, Bill.
It's meat and potatoes and right down to business, and I appreciate that.
You bet.
Yeah, I need like Cliff Notes, but inside the book. So perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen. Well, tell me about now. What are some of the clients that you're working for? You don't got to name names, but like, what are some of the just kind of the services that you kind of aim to? So obviously, you mentioned the HVAC.
Yeah.
But what are some of your other ideal clients?
Yeah. If you were to look at the umbrella of who's a great fit for what I do, they're B2B commercial service companies. They sell high ticket services. And the reason why B2B is because of the aspect of that is a sales-driven process. When you're talking about B2C or retail or residential, a lot of your lead generation is done through effective marketing. And those customers can be multiple time buyers, but a lot of times there'll be, longer cycles between purchases. With B2B, it's really crucial about cultivating relationships with accounts. And that is a way that you build your business, because you'll get that repeat business and opportunities through that.
Yeah, and a lot of times other businesses have a little more available money to spend for those services, whatever you are. I mean, we will say that over at least 50% of our revenue comes from other trades, other trades. So HVAC, solar, you name it. Mm-hmm. Anyone who puts a hole in the ceiling or wall, that's one of our clients. For us, the B2C, the customer, they provide a lot of the cash flow. You go do a job at someone's house, you do a job, that's $300, ma'am. She gives you a check or credit card, you walk out the door. 100%. Those people leave the reviews. The other businesses, they won't leave a review. Mm-hmm. They're not going to pay you immediately. They may give you
they'll make you wait 30, 45 days.
Yeah, at 15, at 30, and then you're going to finally get paid. But those checks are usually a little bit bigger. Mm-hmm. And even when things are maybe a little tighter on the residential side, those checks always show up in the mail. Yeah. So you have to have a blend, as far as I'm concerned, to do both. And one of the things that we figured out years ago is that we don't want to pigeonhole ourselves to one industry. So if let's just take solar, for example. Yep. We have 21 solar companies that we work for directly here in the Orlando office. And just in the past week, I've gotten 2 bankruptcy letters from 2 of those very large solar companies that are going out of business. Yeah. So if our business model was we are the solar company provider for drywall services, we now just took a drastic hit 100%. In our revenue. But because we diversify ourselves through many different types of services, trade service partners, we find ourselves, we can weather those storms pretty easily. Yeah. No, that's smart to do, because you never know when a specific vertical is going to dry up, even in our own business. We'll do trades, but we'll do different types of trades, right? From HVAC to roofing to lawn and landscape and so forth. And they'll be impacted in different ways. You also, we also work with financial services. We also work with PR and marketing firms. So we like to spread it out. The people say, the riches are in the niches. You need to niche down, which I think is great in terms of what your overall deliverables are. Meaning when you're fixing holes that are being created by these contractors, they're holes. There's a specific way that you guys fill them, patch them, and make them look beautiful. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter the industry. The function of what you do is the niche. But you look at any way that you can diversify, because you never know what can happen here. I was grateful during COVID that I didn't lose any business, because my clients were in, from the utility industry, the HVAC industry, trucking, logistics. I mean, all my clients were in high demand, but I had enough diversity to be able to weather that storm, and really I grew during that time. Mm-hmm. So we talk about processes and SOPs, and it's important, obviously, for us doing drywall repair, that we train our employees. Here's step 1, step 2, step 3. Yeah. They have their list, they have their training they go through. We have a whole training academy. But one of the things that we have not had to do very much is go and sell, because we're, there's 97% of every home in America's got drywall. So
140 million homes.
Homes. So everyone has got drywall, and occasionally you will need some repair, whether it's from a leak or whatever. But obviously, end of last year, beginning of this year, everything's kind of a little slower. All of our other friends and businesses are saying that, yes, everyone's down 20%. Everyone's down 15%, 20%.
Common.
And so we've seen it, and we're like, well, but there's still a lot of untapped resources that we're not out there doing. But we don't have a process as driven as what you're going to provide for the sales side.
Right.
We have we've worked through them quite well, actually, and very successful. But I know that following some of your techniques, we're going to be able to kind of step into a different world.
Yeah.
And one of the things is that we've been trying to do is we do a lot of work with trade service partners, but let's go find some new trade service partners. Let's go find the new HVAC companies or the restoration companies or the roofing companies that need us.
Yeah.
And so finding them is the challenge, because not just finding them, but finding them and then getting past the gatekeeper that answers the phone.
Yeah.
If someone walks into my office to see me, there's no way they're going to see me because I've got a great gatekeeper at the front of our
Right.
If someone calls and says, hey, can I talk to James? The answer is he's unavailable. Can I take a message?
Yep.
Right? No one's going to get to me because I've got a great gatekeeper unless they provide a solution for a problem that I have.
Yeah.
Maybe that I don't know I have.
Right.
And then I might talk to them. So talk through a little bit about how, like in our situation, we're trying to get through that barrier. What are some techniques that you would use to kind of help us get through this beginning phase of our new sales efforts here?
Yeah. A couple ways of looking at that. One is identifying who exactly your targets are. So building that list, whether with you guys, you go through BOMA or any of the associations where you can find the directory of who to go after. And then the question is, okay, how do you determine who that primary contact is and how do you get in front of them? So you identify who that primary contact is. So are they the building manager? Are they the owner of the property? You identify who that job title is. That becomes your ICP. And now you go, okay.
ICP?
Thank you. Ideal customer profile. And the way you break down an ICP is by their vertical, their industry, their job title, and then any type of quantifiable parameters that make them a good fit. Like, say, an HVAC company, maybe it's a certain number of rooftop units that they have or whatever the case might be. So you define what that quantifiable aspect is. And then there is a qualifiable, meaning are the intangibles there? Is this a type of client that we would want to do business with? So you'd have your ICP. You're not going to know the qualifiable until you start the sales process with them and get to know them. Now, in answering your question of how do you get in front of them, there are two ways. In certain aspects specific to you, you can look at, say, hey, I want to develop relationships with HVAC and mechanical contractors. Well, one way of doing that is calling in and asking for their sales department, because it's their account reps that are selling the projects that would bring you in. So that is one aspect. You ask for sales, you don't even have to say what you do. You just get sales on the line, and then you make your pitch from there. The other angle that you can make or take is sending cold emails that are super simple and you're not making a sale. They're short. They go something along the lines of, hi, Sam. My name is James with Hole in the Wall Drywall Repair. Here's what we do. Who would be the best person for us to reach out to or connect with at your company to provide a competitive proposal on XYZ? And actually, at the beginning of that email, you start with, after hi, Sam, you go to, I'm hoping you can help point me in the right direction. The importance of that sentence is a lot of people are open to helping. And so by doing that, and then at the end, you say, who would be the best person? Would that be you? And then let them say, yes, that would be me, or no, that would be John Smith. And then they point you in that direction. You follow that trail till you find the person. The biggest mistake people make when they're doing cold outreach is they try to get an appointment immediately. What I call that is where your ask exceeds the level of trust you built with that person. At that point, they don't know who you are. Why would they spend just 15 minutes with you? That's expensive time. So all you're doing is focusing on, are you even the right person? And those two ways of, one, figuring out who that right person is from a 30,000 foot view, meaning you've got the directory, you think this is the person. You may call them up just to find out who, talk to sales. Hey, is this the right person? And then sending that email to get them to raise their hand. And when they raise their hand, that's what I call a verified lead. They've given you permission to market to them. They may or may not be a good prospect for you, but now they are in your system to begin cultivating that relationship.
Interesting.
Yeah, really good.
Did you know that there are over 140 million homes in the U.S.? 97% of them have walls and ceilings that are built using drywall. The drywall repair industry is simply enormous, valued at over $13 billion a year. We're hole-in-the-wall drywall repair, and for years we have been perfecting the art of repairing drywall, developing and refining our systems, and strengthening our brand. Our business model is simple, scalable, and easy to learn. We believe it's a real game changer. We are successful drywall repair pros who decided to take our repair business to a higher level, growing both our franchise training and support to industry-leading standards. You'll benefit from our vast experience helping your franchise hit the ground running and achieve success quickly. We'll give you access to our marketing team that has created strategic programs designed to get your phone ringing and booking new business fast. Join a fast-growing leader in an exciting dynamic segment of the home service industry by franchising with Hole-in-the-Wall Drywall Repair. Start building your own business and securing your own financial future today.
How important is networking to your model?
Networking depends on the industry. So I've got some clients that they don't do a ton of networking and they're highly successful. But if you're in the vast majority of verticals, I would recommend doing networking. If anything, that when you bring on new sales reps, it is a live situation that you can bring them in to get them to hone their elevator pitch and how they deliver it. The skills are fantastic. So that's on one level. Where I have found networking to be hugely valuable, and where a lot of my clients do as well, is it is a great top of funnel type of activity. You're going there, you're not going there to sell your services. All you're doing is going there to develop relationships. And when I think of B2B sales, I think of it on three pillars. Pillar number one is to expand your base of trust. These are the relationships that you begin and you develop. Okay. Pillar number two is that you cultivate that trust over time. And then pillar number three is you deliver, you follow through, and you become the most trusted provider in your space. You notice the common denominator there is trust. And the value of networking is it is all about trust relationships. So even though you're in a meeting and you may not have a prospect in that group, they know people who are prospects, and then they connect you. And you only do that through these high trust type of relationships.
Nice. I learned a lot. This is probably an episode I'm going to go back and listen to and take more notes on, but that was really good right there. Curious how much you rely on like LinkedIn, social media type stuff.
When you say rely on, how do you define rely?
Well, I mean, a lot of people put a lot of stake in. I've got to post 3 times a week. I've got to make sure that I have good content.
Yeah.
Are you just dropping content? Or are you intentional about certain posts?
I love that question because you're bringing up posts, but to me, that's tip of the iceberg type of stuff when it comes to building relationships and growing sales. I rely on LinkedIn quite heavily because I distinguish businesses into 2 buckets: incumbent type businesses and discretionary type businesses. Incumbent is the type of business you guys are in, meaning people are hiring drywall repair folks to fill in holes. The question is, why are they not doing it from you? Why are they not buying from you? So that's your opportunity.
Right.
You're going after incumbent type stuff. When I was selling trucks, that was an incumbent type business. But I'm in a discretionary business when I'm selling sales coaching and training, and especially to the SMB market. If I were selling to the enterprise, they are used to buy, they buy sales training on a regular basis. So that would be incumbent. But to an SMB market, they may not think they need it, or they may not see the problem. So a way that a discretionary business needs the market, I call it almost open mic marketing, meaning you got to display your expertise to get people comfortable and to go, oh my gosh, that we have this problem that this person might be able, let's get them on the phone, let's set up a meeting. So that's where LinkedIn comes into play on 2 levels. One is, yes, the post. I'll post anywhere from 5 to 7 posts a week. Nothing heavy, but just enough for me to formulate my thoughts and to test them out there. But where I find the real value is through DMs and connections. And here's why. I don't sell through the DMs, but I cultivate the relationships. Going back to that, you expand your base of trust. I see every connection that I make on LinkedIn as I'm expanding that base of trust. And then the DMs are part of that cultivate trust over time. So my DM strategy is I go to a networking event. I meet a handful of people where maybe I'll get 3 or 4 cards that day. I will email them, great to meet you. Add them to my CRM, and in the great to meet you, there's no sales. It's, hey, it was great to meet you. Hope to catch up with you at upcoming chamber events, and, looking forward to keeping in touch. Very simple. At that same time, after I've sent them an email, a connect request with them on LinkedIn. Now I've expanded the number of channels that I can cultivate trust with. And at that time, I'll send them the connection request. If they accept it, the next day I send them a thank you. DM. Hey, thank you so much for connecting with me here on LinkedIn. I look forward to following you and learning from your content. All the best, Sean. Really simple. Didn't sell anything. I had somebody from a logistics company DM me back, and he goes, man, this is the best intro DM I've seen, and we've had ongoing conversations since then. He's in my ICP. So it opened up a door, just something as simple as that. Now, here's where the beauty of LinkedIn is. Once you've established that relationship, you go on their profile and you go to their activity. You click on activity. So that's their link that shows all their posts. I cut and paste, put it in their in my CRM on their profile. And now I have a certain number of verified leads that I will plan for that week that I'm going to cultivate. And the way I cultivate is I click on that link and it shows me their posts, their most recent posts, and I'll engage on their post. Not like simple things, but value added stuff like, hey, this is great. Here's something that's worked with me as well, or things like that, where you're taking it that next level of cultivating it. And again, over time, week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I'll have people DMing me, thank you so much for, engaging in the content. Because here's the value of doing that. You're bestowing on them status. You're actually giving them something, because every time you engage, it raises their status. And it's free for you to do. And it doesn't take a ton of time. So that, in the last type of DM that I do, I say last, I do many more, but that I'll talk about right now in this context is, if I notice somebody who's in my ICP who's really engaging with my content, I'll send them a DM to thank them. Say, thank you so much for taking the time to, show me the love and engage with my content. Really appreciate it. I have people, I don't ask for meetings. I have people coming to me because I've engaged with them. Hey, I'm interested in learning about what you do and what your approach is. That's what systematic selling looks like, just on that little sliver of your prospecting.
Wow. Well, so tell me a little bit about your gears. Okay. So you've got multiple gears. I don't want to get into it. There's a whole system I know you can do. And, and we'll be here for hours.
And it's all, he's talking about gears. It's literally in your logo, right?
Yeah.
There's all these gears working together.
Yeah.
But just touch on just some of those touch points, things that you look at, things that you're analyzing, maybe some deliverables, some homework you're giving people like us, just a quick rundown of that.
Well, and instead of going over the specific of the gears, what I think is super important about the idea of systematic selling, which is, when James brings up the idea of gears, there are 10 systems that every business needs in order to scale their sales without the chaos. And the importance of those 10 systems, without going into them individually, is to teach you how to think systematically. For example, you get feedback from customers, and for whatever reason, you keep losing deals on price. Now, that is System 6 proposal. That's where you provide your price, and they either say yes, no, later, or ghost. I mean, you have one of 4 responses there. But you're getting this feedback, your price is too high. And so your natural reaction is to look at your price and go, hey, do we need to lower this? And you're looking at it at the immediate system, which is System 6. Before lowering your price, though, I always recommend, let's look upstream here. What other systems could be contributing to that issue? So I'll start asking questions if a client's coming to me with this issue, and they go, all right, so when you proposed the budget during your discovery meeting, you said, look, a project like this typically runs about $5,000. Does that fit in line with what you were intending to invest? What did they say? And they'll be like, I didn't ask that question. So I'd be like, okay, so you're telling me that they did not know your price until they saw it in writing in your proposal. I go, yeah. Okay. So when you're asking it in discovery, which is System 4, so 2 systems ahead, what you're able to do is get a reaction. They'll go, no, actually, your competitor's doing this at 3. And you go, whoa. So we're talking about $2,000 differential. Normally, we're not the lowest price, but normally we're not $2,000 apart. Typically when I see this, because there's a difference in scope. Is there any way I could take a look at the scope and see if this is apples to apples? And now you have a conversation, right? But you're taking care of it there. If you wait till the proposal, they're going to assume, this 3,000 price is lower. I'm getting the same thing, and they'll move on. You've lost that deal. So thinking systematically forces you to look beyond where you are right now to try to find the root cause. Now, it could be okay, you've had discussions on price, but they're still saying it's still too high. Well, System 5 is presentation. And the idea behind presentation can be one of two ways. It could be that's your product demo, but where I use it a lot with service businesses, this is your recommendation review, right? You're going over a proposal draft. It's not finalized, and you do it in a live conversation. The purpose of this is your proposal should be a formalization of agreed upon deal that was verbal. And so the presentation gives you the opportunity to go, okay, we're down here. It's $5,000. Yeah. Really our budget's for, okay, let's look at, see what we can take out of scope. And now you're making these final adjustments and go, okay, if we did this and this, we did it at 4, would that work for you? Yes. Awesome. Now send the proposal. So when you think systematically, you're looking at root causes and not making knee-jerk reactions based on what you're seeing in the immediate system you're in.
Wow.
Take a moment to absorb that, folks. Just a quick second.
No, listen, obviously you've had a lot of training and you've obviously put a lot of high level thought into this, and man, it just oozes out.
Thank you.
Well, listen, I think we could probably talk about this for probably another 3 hours, but I think we should reserve it for another podcast. I think that you should come back on and we could talk more about this as we engage some of your processes. We can talk about some of our successes.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I think it would be really great. So if our audience wants to kind of meet you, wants to talk with you or see you, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
You bet. The best way to reach me is via email. That's Sean, SEAN, at systematic-selling.com. Or you can find me on LinkedIn, Sean M. as a Matthew Lyden. So Sean M. Lyden. You can DM me there, or you can also find me on Twitter at Sean M. Lyden as well.
Excellent. Sean, thank you for coming in.
Thanks so much for coming in.
Appreciate it. We're going to talk some more out there. I can't wait for some more.
Yeah, this is one of those days, James. Just keep the tape. We're going to end it, but just keep the tape rolling, will you?
You just drag the recorder to lunch with us.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Well, listen, everyone, thanks for listening. It was another great show. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks so much.
We'd like to thank you for listening to the Hole in the Wall Business Podcast with Bill and James. We'd love for you to join our Facebook group and keep the conversation going. If you'd like to learn more about us and our business, check us out at holeinthewall.com. If you'd like to learn more about how to start a Hole in the Wall franchise, go to holeinthewallfranchising.com.